All right, welcome to the next episode of the Empowered Life podcast. Pezik here, and boy, do I have a treat for you today. I'm already getting goosebumps because I got another lady on here with me that's in health and fitness, that's in business, that's in mindset, that firmly believes we can get women together, we can empower each other, we can tackle the limiting beliefs that women have about what is possible for them. And if we spread that message that things are possible and we come together to do that, look out, baby, because you're unstoppable. And that's what I have. I have Taylor Simpson here with me from Washington, D.C. Yay. So Taylor's with me. She is a business and fitness coach. She's the creator of the Mind and Body Empowerment Tribe. Hello, the Empowered Life podcast, the Empowerment Tribe, right? The Confidence Academy. And I'm going to tell you later how you can connect with her on her podcast and YouTube. And she's got an awesome little gift for you that's going to blow your mind. But what we're going to be talking about in the next 30, 45 minutes together is all about confidence, because that's where it starts. And if you're sitting there, you're already maybe easing back in your chair if you're driving, or you're sitting at your desk and you're thinking, I wish I had more confidence in my life. I look at those other people and they seem like they have it all together. You know, they don't fall off the bandwagon in their, health and fitness. They make lots of money in their business and they're rocking it. And where do I measure up, right? As women, I think we do that. We say, don't compare to other people, but sometimes we do. And we don't give ourselves enough credit for the awesomeness that we have inside of us. So Taylor, let me just say, welcome.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. Again, we're just catching up with you beforehand. It's so nice to connect with women that are on the same just wavelength and mission and just kicking ass at everything they do. So I am grateful to be here and to dive into this topic that it's easy to not talk about because it's kind of uncomfortable to talk about lack of confidence. But we can't improve or we can't grow unless we talk about the real stuff. So we can actually grow and figure out how we can rewire our brains and start manifesting the life that we want. But it all starts with how we view ourselves.
Huge, right? And you're right. This is raw. It's vulnerable. Nobody's going to raise their hand and be like, I have no confidence. Sign me up for whatever you have, right? Not having confidence shows up in different ways in our life that maybe we've never realized. So when you coach people or you see people that you're like, I gotta get you believing in yourself, because that's where it all starts. What do you find? How do people sabotage themselves? Or what do you find is the first thing that maybe someone out there, if they're like, I don't know where I rate with my confidence. Where do we start with people?
Yeah. So especially it comes with a lot of my business clients is they're like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think that I can ever, there's already too many wellness coaches out there. There's just, it's too saturated. So I just can't do it. And I'm like, okay, there's clearly something more deep rooted in this. Let's get down the nitty gritty. And most of the time it's fear of failure. And it's people that deal with perfectionism, and the twin of people that are saying, I am a recovering perfectionist personally. But the twin of perfectionism is insecurity. So the second I highlight that, they're like, well, shit. Yep. So behind that, so we kind of just unveil that right away and then dive deep for them to acknowledge that they are lacking a little bit of confidence, but knowing that they can grow and improve so they can build that business of their dreams. And if they fail, it fails and you just regroup. So it's kind of rewiring from the very get-go. If you've got a lack of confidence, it's all good. You could still achieve your dreams, but I need you to put in the work and believe in yourself.
So it's setting that foundation right from the beginning. I love that you said the twin of perfectionism is insecurity.
Yep.
So it's okay to be insecure.
Yeah.
As long as you recognize it. Yeah. But we're going to grow and we're going to improve.
Yep. 100%.
All of us can grow and improve.
Yes.
Even
absolutely.
People in business that are making 7-8 figures, live the life of their dreams. There's Brendon Burchard, who's a mentor of mine, says there's no ceiling to your income and your influence and your impact. Everybody can grow.
Yep. 100%.
Right? So if
100%.
you're sitting there putting these confident people on a pedestal, these people that never fail,
Yeah.
that's not true. We're
Yep.
equal. We're equal.
And it's easy
Right?
to fall into that trap of like the comparison trap. It's just like, oh, so and so has this much confidence. That's why they're so successful. Well, no, they just put in the self-development work to figure out what they were lacking in their confidence, and then dealt with that and got rid of it and started moving forward. That's how they became to where they are. Like, and if they can do it, anyone can do it. Like,
Totally.
It's just that it's that easy, but yet that hard at the same time. It's acknowledging where you're at and having faith moving forward.
Totally. So then let's say we're like, okay, I am insecure about, let's even say just in health and fitness. I am insecure about starting another plan of healthy habits because I've tried every quick fix in the book. I've tried these things before. I have rebound, I gained all the weight back and then some. I don't want to invest. I don't want to spend. I don't want to do because I'm going to fail again. So we get people that you're like, okay, you're insecure. I get it. You failed in the past. You've gained back weight. Like, I feel ya.
Yeah.
Then where do we take them next?
Well, I first asked them, how long did you try this so-unquote diet? Usually about 2 weeks. People don't realize if it takes, it took a long time to put on those 40 extra pounds. And I'm a tough love coach. It's going to take long to take those 40 pounds off. So it's easy to fall into the trap of, trying something for 2 weeks and then it not working and then just kind of like pulling back. And then I asked them, what is their why? Why do they want to lose the weight? Like, what's your goal? If it's just to, because I'll look better in my shorts, well, yeah, you might, but you're not going to feel good on the inside. Like, no matter what weight you're at, if you hit your goal and you're still miserable and lacking confidence inside, those shorts are going to feel no differently on you. So just narrowing down what their why is and allowing, and if their why is very fluff, I'm like, no, like, this is not going to get your ass out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym. Like, you're going to be like, oh yeah, screw those shorts. Like, I don't need those shorts. Like, so having a clear why, and that could work for anything, for a business, for a goal, a life goal you have. If you want to become an author, like, you just have to figure out like what your why is. And that alone gets the ball rolling for building confidence, because that's the foundation of it.
So it's like, we're just taking the shovel with people and we're digging a little bit deeper and we're getting in there. So after we set the foundation, I love how you set that realistic expectation with people, which I think is so huge, about how long did you try that lifestyle or that fitness plan or that nutritional plan or that way of eating or that program? How long have you been trying to launch that program in business? You did one launch and it didn't get you the results you wanted, and now you're like, that doesn't work, right? Like, you did one masterclass or one webinar and it flopped and you're like, masterclasses don't work. I'm out, right? It's like realistic expectations that, as we were talking about before we got on this podcast, that success is like not linear. Any goals you want to achieve in life are not linear. It's messy. It's all over the place. It's up, it's down, it's left, it's right. And as soon as you accept that, it's almost like the acceptance, right? The acceptance that you're insecure, and then the acceptance that it's going to be messy.
And acknowledge it. And like, don't be like, I love talking about like lack of confidence, insecurities, and all like the dirty words, because the more and longer we avoid them, our life is not going to get any better. What you put out, you receive. So if you're constantly focusing on your insecurities, guess what? The universe is going to continue to throw you in scenarios that make you feel like crap, and all your insecurities show. Like, until we like actually deal with the, I don't like defining negative or good or bad, until we like just work with what's going on the inside and acknowledge it, accept it, and love the crap out of it, because it's us. That's where the good stuff happens.
Yeah. And that ties in with your why, because everybody's why is so different, right?
100%.
When I look at my why, it's my kiddo, it's my 4-year-old. Like, I'm going to be the role model to him. I want to live a different life than how I was parented. So what's your why? Why do you do what you do and serve people the way that you serve people? Yeah.
So my why, actually, it's so funny you asked, because I write down a new why probably every other month. I kind of like reframe it, just kind of go with how I feel. I do a lot of journaling in the morning. I've got like a super long morning routine, and a lot of it has to do with journaling. And about 2 months ago, I was like, I need to freshen up my why. It's like, I'm a super passionate person, but I just knew it needed a tweak. So I kind of wrote down like 10 different whys, nothing really clicked. Nothing made me light up. And then I got to like my last why, and I was like just wept. I literally cried. I was like, that's my why. So my ultimate vision, so I'm really big into philanthropy, and my biggest goal, my why for making millions of dollars is so I can build a foundation in Africa to help women over there have a space in this big warehouse to have their little businesses set up. They don't have to rely on anyone else, a man, no one. They just have their own little station that we run through, a foundation. But then to get to that why, my why every single day is to serve women that I have in my community right now to my highest capacity. So that when I serve, the more women I can help change their lives and serve allows me to get closer to my ultimate goal of starting that big foundation. So there's twofold why. A why right now, and then a why in the long run. And they feed each other. Like, it's like that literally gets me out of bed every day to give 100% to my community and serve at like my highest capacity possible.
I love that. I love that. And, we continue to dig. And it made me think when you were like, I wrote down all these whys and it wasn't clicking until the last one. And it's like your first thought is not the winner.
Yeah.
Your first attempt isn't always the winner. Right? Like the first time you try, whether you're shooting a sales video or doing a masterclass or trying to cook recipes you're not familiar with or having a difficult conversation with someone you love, it's not going to be the winner the first time that you do it.
Nope, rarely. Very, very, very rarely.
Right. So again, setting that expectation that you're not failing, it's part of the process.
100%. Right? Like I love failure. Is like my favorite thing in the world.
You learn so much from it. And I love that you led with the big why. And because that's sometimes what people do. They're right. They set these which aren't bad, but they set these ginormous goals. But then they don't know the first step.
No.
Get there, and then they never get there because they don't take the micro steps to get there, right?
They don't go backwards. They don't have like a blueprint set up for how the heck they're going to get that big why.
Right. Like if you're like, you have a big philanthropic, is that how you say? How'd you say that word?
Philanthropy.
There you go. You have a big philanthropy. That's like the 20-cent word I can't say. Mission. Whether it's you want to speak on a stage to 10,000 people, you want to be a best-selling author. You're like, I want to be a best-selling author. Okay, well then by when? Okay, by next year. Okay, what you gonna do in the next year to get there?
But then also why do you want to be a best-selling author? That's another thing. It's like, you can set these big goals, why, that's what, one of my goals is to be a New York Times bestselling author. And it's my why for that is to be able to get the tools that changed my life from lacking major confidence, insecure, and a miserable job, and a marriage that didn't make me happy. That's my why, is to get those tools into millions of people's hands. So it's you have to have very detailed reason why.
Amen. You got to think, no stone left unturned.
Nope.
Right? Because sometimes you do uncover things that maybe you never realized. Like at one point, I wanted to be a master trainer for this head company that I worked for that literally traveled all over the world training people on how to deliver these group fitness classes. At one point I wanted to be a speaker, a well-known speaker that is known on the biggest stages. And I still want to do that. But when I started journaling about it, I was like, I got a 3-year-old who's now a 4-year-old, but I'm like, he's a 4-year-old. If I do that, that means I'm traveling every single weekend away from my family, away from my husband, away from my kid, away from this, away from my community, that I was like, there's a time and a place for that. And that time and place isn't right now. Right. And that's why I'm serving so many people online, similar to you, and passionately serving people here because I will get there when the time is right. So 100%. You could have an aha that's a really positive, or you can have an aha that's maybe not a negative, but it makes you rethink your why or rethink the plan.
Absolutely. Just relay out that blueprint and kind of make a few tweaks. No biggie. Doesn't mean you're not going to do it. It's just right now, it's just not in the game plan.
So you would say having flexibility is something that people need.
And that's why I go back through my goals and my whys. And, I tell my clients, bi-monthly. Go back through them because you might change your mind. You might meet the love of your life and move to Tahiti. you can't make your goals so incredibly in stone that you miss opportunities that'll come your way that might veer you off in a whole other direction.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Now I'm not going to let that one pass. You kind of laid some stuff in there that I picked out on where you said you were in a marriage that didn't serve you.
Yep.
Right? You were insecure.
Yep.
I see here in front of me in your bio or some stuff that you shared with me, you went through years of binge eating, years. Like we think about how long a year of your life is, right?
Yeah.
Think of the time lost and the happiness lost and like years of binge eating, social anxiety, clueless on the importance of overall mind and body health. You were in a hole, probably not confident.
Yeah, no. So I actually went through my entire schooling, undergrad and my master's, without having to give a single presentation. Like I think I got one. I bartered my social anxiety and my insecurities were so deep rooted, literally bartered with professors to give a presentation by myself to them. Like that's how much I avoided. I would rather have a root canal than public speak. And so people see me now and they're like, there's no way. I'm like, yeah, like that's why I'm so passionate about getting tools out there and how to gain more confidence, because I am literally proof that like you can go from extreme social anxiety to now doing whatever the hell you want. But yeah, so like I was in a super dark hole and just super clueless and not sure like what my purpose was, my mission, just lacking clarity. I went to got degrees in that I thought I was supposed to be in, got my dream job that I thought I was supposed to be in because it looked great on paper and, quote unquote, successful, that sort of thing. Had this perfect marriage, quote unquote, perfect marriage, and just doing the things that like I assumed you're supposed to do and thinking that they would make me more confident and feel better and love myself. But in the end, I ended up reaching for food to make me feel better. I'd go shopping. I would go shopping like every single day, spending money on shit I didn't need and then eating stuff I didn't need. And that was my coping mechanism for stuffing away my actual deep-rooted problems, like my insecurities, my lack of confidence. I mean, all of that. And then one day I had enough and I was like, this is not fun. Like I'm not having fun in life. And I'm always been, even though I had social anxiety, I've always been that friend in the group of friends that was like the bubbly, the outgoing. All my friends were like, you're going to do big things. And I'm like, no, I'm not. That sounds so scary. Right? And so it's like, it wasn't until I was like, this is not fun. I'm not having fun in life. What am I doing wrong? And I just dumped it all on paper. I was like, these are the things that I hate about myself right now. And that's okay. And, some people look at that and be like, oh, you can't write what you hate about yourself. No, you got to face the stuff you don't like about yourself. No one else is going to face it for you. And if so, they're not going to be honest with you. So yeah, like that's when I just laid it all out and was like, okay, what do I need to do to get my life in the right direction?
Yes, because those themes will always come back up in your life.
Over and over.
Those themes of stuffing yourself or really it's like hoarding. You're like hoarding food. You're hoarding, materialistic items. You're even in business. Yeah. The people that buy every course, every book, everything, and they just hoard information and never implement anything.
Yes.
Because it's not perfect.
Well, information overload. And then they just get so much of it. Yeah, they don't want to put anything out that isn't perfect because they read all these other perfect books and all these business people have their lives together. And they don't realize like, no, like those people got this New York best-selling science books because they tried. They threw it out there. They threw it on the wall and it stuck.
Right. And that might have been the 7th book they wrote that finally became the New York Times.
Yep.
Right. People think they got it on the first book. Right?
Yeah, no, not so much.
Right? Or people think, I had someone say to me the one time, you're lucky and you're privileged that you have the success that you have in your life. And I was like, what? It's like smoke coming out of my ears. I was like, man, like people don't realize how much hard work it takes and getting real. Like you said, you put it out on paper, the good, the bad, the ugly. You were like, I got to freaking face it. Because if I don't, I'm always going to be in this hole.
Yep.
Right? You're never going to get out of the hole unless you face what's in front of you, what's holding you back. And I love the guiding question that's so simplistic but huge. Are you having fun in your life?
Yeah.
Right?
Like that leads everything I do. Like even if it's like building a course, if it's building talking on my Snapchat to my like whatever it is. If I'm not having fun doing it, like what am I doing? Yeah, there's some stuff you're gonna have to do that you're like so monotonous and it's just, there's stuff you got to do.
Yes.
But it's fun to me because I know it's getting me towards something that's even funner and like going to be helpful for the people that consume it. Like, yeah, if it's not fun, I say no. I used to say yes to everything, but now I'm like, if it's not a hell yes, like, no, not happen.
No, because you're like, my time is worth it. My
Yeah.
mission, I'm on my path. You clearly have
Yeah.
the place in Africa, your community that you're serving.
Very detailed path.
You're like, this is my path. And if you ain't on my path or you ain't pushing me along in the path,
no. Yeah.
God bless, more power to ya.
Yeah.
But I'm on my path.
Yep.
And that, to me, that's confidence. When
Yep.
you're like, when you know what to say, you know to set those boundaries,
Yes.
you know what to say no to,
Yep.
you know it's a distraction
Yes.
that's pulling you off that path,
yep.
as opposed to something that's fast tracking you or helping you take that next step.
Yep.
Right?
And I always ask myself too, is will my future self thank me for this? That's a question I ask myself when it comes to food. If, I'm getting emotional and I sort of like, lean towards food, I'm like, whoa. Will my future self thank me for this in 2 hours, 3 hours? Probably not some of those times. Like, probably not. And I'm like, all right, dial it back and find something else to do.
Huge. Now, when you talk about transforming your body and your mind, assumption comes up here. So what are these assumptions that pull us off that path? Or, this assumption that your future self is not going to thank you for no matter what you do. Like, what are these assumptions that you feel hold women back with their confidence?
So when it comes to confidence, definitely. So some assumptions would be just kind of like predicting the outcome. A lot of it's so easy to, I call them automatic negative thinking. And we can either assume what people are going to say, or assume that it's going to fail. And in the end, I'm pretty sure I've never met a mind reader or someone who actually can scientifically predict the future. So it's like we get into this cycle of even just going to an event. People like, especially a recovering social anxiety person. And I work with a lot of people who have like they will not go to the grocery store because they're just like in so fear of what people are going to think about them. So even going into like a social event and you're driving there and you are automatically now assuming what the scenario is going to be. You're like, I'm going to walk in the door and people are going to look at me and be like, oh my God, she's got like a tire around her waist, or what are those pants she's wearing? And then I see myself like not connecting with anyone, and then I'm sitting there by myself and looking like a total loser, and then I'm not going to make any connections, and then I'm going to leave, I'm going to come home at night and eat all the ice cream because I'm such a loser. And you haven't even gotten to the damn event yet. Like, but it's like we do it. We all do it. We all have these crazy negative reeling thoughts in our head that just they just make us so stuck. They paralyze us from any sort of miracle, I like to call them, to come into our way.
Yeah.
Like, we're so stuck inside of our own damn heads, and in the end, no one cares about us as much as we think. No one. Because they're also in their own head thinking about themselves.
Totally.
It's like so silly. It's like it's silly. Like I remember living that life, and I still do. I still have times where I'm like caring way too much. I'm like, no one cares about me right now. Like no one's like, especially like women in the gym. People that's a big killer for confidence, is assuming that men are looking at them and judging them. And no one is. No one. They're probably like checking out your ass in the yoga pants.
Yeah, totally. People are like, oh, I asked that question and I sounded so stupid. And people are like, what question are you talking about? I didn't know you asked the question. What are you talking about? Right?
Yeah. Assuming just it kills. Unless you're a mind reader, drop the assumptions.
And it makes me think back to like even that, am I having fun? What is you're missing out on those miracles that you talked about. It's like our brain was wired to think the negative. Yep. Right? Because it's like back in the day when like, the saber-toothed tiger
was I use that analogy all the time.
Right? Like you weren't looking at the pretty butterfly, over there. You were focused on the tiger that was trying to kill you. So your brain goes to that negative unless you rewire it. Absolutely. Not everything is fight or flight. Yep. Not every scenario is going to be terrible. And you're not having fun. You're missing out on those miracles. If you like almost like manifest or come up with this, situation that's going to be the worst thing ever that happens. Yep. And it never happens.
No. And even if it doesn't happen, because you put so much energy into that, you're going to feel like crap after the event no matter what. Because you put your energy on that vibration. And you
Mm-hmm.
probably think, especially presentations, it's so easy to go into giving a presentation at your job. And you go in
Mm-hmm.
like, this is going to be awful. I'm totally going to flunk it. Like the PowerPoint is just going to turn off. It's going to crash and everyone's going to think I'm stupid. And then if you keep that mindset the whole way, you get back to your desk and you're like, that was just awful. I'm just so bad. And no, it was just fine. Like
Yeah.
So unless if it's about getting the gap between our thought, our immediate, noticing, I call them the ABCs. This is like something I do on the Confidence Academy, is the activating situation, the belief, and the consequences. So to go through those, your beliefs are, why is this situation right now knocking me off my confidence? And is it the situation itself? Is it the people around me? Kind of notice. So getting the gap between whatever that situation is and then the actual moment where you take action in the scenario, making that really clear and just like soft and you're in tune with it, versus jumping from here to there and not actually acknowledging where you're at and noticing what the activating situation is, or the belief. The B in the ABC is the belief, noting what the belief is behind the activating situation.
I love that. It's like, stop and just think. Take a moment for yourself. Yeah, bridge that gap. That's huge. Okay, now what about you? What throws you? Has anything thrown you recently? Like, do those limiting beliefs in your life and that anxiety, does that ever come back up for you? Or you're like, nah, I'm good?
Yeah, no, I oh my gosh, all the time. So my theme, I love going through themes and I love talking about themes with my community. And last year was fear. 2017, because I used to avoid fear like the plague. As a recovering perfectionist, we tend to not go towards fear because fear means we could fail. Heaven forbid. So 2017, I like did anything that I thought was terrifying. Like if I would fail at it, or like I would just try it. And so after that, it's like, now I kind of look at it as just like, if something throws me off my rocker right now, I'm like, okay, I kind of do my ABCs. Like, why is this throwing me off my rocker? And example right now would probably just kind of just taking probably right now is leveling up my business to a different area. I'm doing a lot of like rebranding and personally going from like fitness to now business and life coaching. So it's like in that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is this the right direction? Like, am I speaking to the right people? Am I getting my message clearly across? Like, I'm constantly having automatic negative thoughts and catastrophizing and assuming and labeling, and especially like a label, because I used to be so shy inwardly. Sometimes I see that label come out. Like, we all have those labels that we put on ourselves. I'm shy, I'm boring, I'm whatever, I'm stupid. So sometimes I have those labels that creep back up to this day. And I'm like, no, it's not me. It's a label. So yeah, I 100%, but it's just, I honor them. I don't, now when they come up, I'm like, when they come up every day, I'm just like, oh, hey there, automatic negative thought. Like, what's up?
You make friends with it. You're like, hey, thought, let's explore this a little bit more. Yeah.
And then I kind of give myself a little extra love. I'm like, okay, if I'm getting negative, that means I need to maybe go to yoga. I need to kind of just like chill out.
Yeah, as opposed to sweeping it under the carpet and continuing with that negative belief that will keep coming up.
Yep.
Unless you make friends with it, get to the root of it. But now that you've done so much work, exactly what we just walked people through, like setting the foundation, getting to the root, what's your why, not stuffing it away, is this fun, getting rid of those labels, like all of that. Now that we have, your ABCs that you talked about, you've got a way to rewire it.
Yep.
Because you have a step-by-step, instead of going, well, I don't feel good and I don't know what to do about it. You're like, oh no, I got this. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, done. See ya. Peace. See you next time. See ya. Right?
Yeah. I'm a very I'm a type A. So I like to having the 1, 2, 3, like give me the steps and I will do the steps like until the steps are like totally complete. That's why I love doing the ABCs, because it's like, it tells me like, this is what you need to do. What's the belief? And then the C is the consequence. What's the consequence? What could go what could happen? Like, what do I, do I need to avoid this? No, like I kind of like just, it's silly to even think that a tiger is going to come get you. Like the consequences are, you'll grow. Like that you might feel awkward and look awkward and give off awkward vibes, but that's growth.
Yeah, and I always think, talking about consequences, what is the consequence if I don't do this?
Yes.
Right? Yes, or I don't address this. Like, what if I don't go to the conference and there Like I miss out on meeting the person that's going to give me the book deal or have me on their podcast that's going to be heard by someone that's going to give me the deal. Like it's going to open me, introduce me to this person that's going to get me here. Like I always think like, what am I going to miss out on if I don't get over this fear or I don't like
100%.
You know?
Yep. And fears just hold you, like they hold you back for way too long. And before you know it, 5 years go by and you're like, yeah, so nothing's different in my life. Like, it's 100%. Like, I love that you use like especially the conference, like it's like easy to avoid things that we don't want to go to sometimes, but knowing like, what would I miss out?
Yeah, totally. And to go back to confidence, you're in the same situation that I am. We both started in health and fitness. We've now both recently made the switch to business and life coaching and that sort of stuff. And, you know, for me, it was the same. I had the same kind of stuff come up and it was a lot harder for me to get going again in business because it's like, I think you have this success in your life. Like I was in the health and fitness industry for 5 years and I was established and I had foundations and people knew me. So the sales and the connections and the growth and all that came so much easier than when I made the switch to business. It's almost like I expected those 5 years to just like carry on over into like 3 months. And I'd be like, everything would be easy and perfect and everything would be a smashing success. And you're like, wait a second, why is this so hard? Right? So even if you've had success in your life, realize that if you're pushing now to that next level, because some people on this podcast may have already climbed out of that hole that you talked about, right? They've already done the work, but now they're like, they're comfortable, but they want to get to that next level, right? But it's almost like you almost go back to the beginning of the process.
Yeah, that same level is the same level that you started at, but just at a different level. Like it's
like a newbie all over again.
Yes.
And if you start going, well, I'm not going to do business now because, you know, it was so easy in health and fitness and you forget almost like where you came from, that you're like, no, it wasn't so easy. You just ran the miles and put in the work to get there. That it's like, you got to run the miles again. You got to dig up the stuff. You got to brain dump it and not stuff it away and not hoard it. Like you almost got to go through that same process.
It's just going through the cycle again. Wash, rinse, repeat.
So what are you so last year was like the year of fear. What are you most excited about this year? Or like, what is the main thing? Like, so what's your theme for this year? What are you smashing in the community?
It's, my theme this year has definitely been connection. That's like, that's been what's been on my heart big time. So that's why I've devoted more time to my podcast and just doing doing, you know, stuff like this and joining masterminds and going to conferences, which I need to do more of. It's like, so it's like, it's definitely connection in person. And that's why I host workshops. So it's like just that human touch and you know, just being around like-minded people and people who are ready to be like-minded is definitely my theme this year. And it's going like hardcore. Like I'm like balls to the wall with it. Like just making a connection every single day. That's my goal. Who can, like every day I'm like, who can I connect with? Who can I email to be like, hey, you want to meet up for coffee? Hey, you want to hop in on a Skype date? Like, let's just talk about how our businesses are going, or like just randomly, like just whatever I can do.
Yeah. And do you feel that getting around like-minded people and changing your environment and connecting has boosted your confidence even more?
Oh my gosh, yes. Like it's like once you start just learning what other people are doing and providing some of your tools to them, like just going back and forth with, hey, this is something I'm struggling with. I'm a big person. Like I love to talk about my struggles and my fears because I know that's going to help someone else. Like I know someone else would be like, damn, I'm going through that too, but I never thought about talking about it. So like I love that shit. And then they usually end up opening up and sharing one of their challenges. And then we both grow from it. Like, so yeah, like my confidence soars and their confidence soars. So it's a win-win.
A win-win, right? And it's like all the answers are already there for you.
Yes.
Like if you're struggling with confidence, just go have a heart-to-heart conversation with someone. Start a conversation with the person in the elevator next to you, for Pete's sake. Like
100%.
Make a connection, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yes. Again, I used to be terrified to I'd have panic attacks like at the grocery store when it was like my turn to check out, like, cause the pressure was on me. Like that's how bad it was. And now I'm that person that like chats with the cashier.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing later? Like,
yeah. And it's It's
but
like,
it took a lot to get there.
I was just going to say that. And that didn't happen overnight.
No, like probably 2-3 years to get to that. Like not an overnight thing, but it's doing something it's making that, asking myself, who can I connect with every day?
So the listeners, like, gut check yourself there. 2 to 3 years, a woman who was nervous to pay for the food she was buying in a grocery store,
Straight up.
now hosting workshops, speaking on podcasts, having your academy, coaching other women.
Yeah, to do that. Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like that's why I'm so incredibly passionate about helping women with confidence, because I know how scary it is. I know how debilitating it is to lack confidence. It's awful. It's no fun.
And do you ever think ahead to the future? Like, I'm sure you do, because you're like me and you've got the vision and the path and the manifesting and the journaling, and like, I'm a geek about my morning routine as well. Do you ever envision that vision in Africa?
Oh my gosh, all the time. Like I already have, I know where, like, what my house is going to look like. I want to have like a whole plantation there. I'm not going to live there full time, but just when I go there. So I also want to adopt from Africa. So whenever I build the foundation, I'm going to get to know the community. Who knows how many kids I'll adopt, but I want them to be from there, because I'm going to have my compound there. Like, they'll go back every single summer during summer break and spend time with their blood relatives. And so and it's like, my vision is like literally like down to like the little like neighborhood that I live in, down to what the building looks like. I mean, everything.
The smells, the sights, everything.
Yeah, it is so incredibly clear. And every time I go back to Africa, I just like cry my eyes out, because it's like, it's so tangible. Like, it is like right there. So when I like touch my feet on that ground over there, I'm just like, it's going to happen. I don't know where in this continent, but it's going to happen.
And you think if you stayed in that hole, that will never happen.
Never. And I've always had this connection with Africa, and I grew up like with the notion of volunteering. Like, that was just part of my family's life. So it's like, I knew that I wanted to do something in Africa to help serve since I was very young. But because as I got older, I was like, it's never going to happen. Like, who would I be to have a nonprofit, or who would I be to even like talk to a group of women in Africa? I mean, that small. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, that idea back then, not even a clear vision, like a terrifying, stuff it away in the closet. That'll be for my next lifetime vision.
Yeah. Not going to happen for me. I can't do that. It's not possible.
And then I'd be jealous of other women that were doing it. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're so lucky. They have confidence. Like, it's like, come on. That's when I realized, no, like, if they can do it, I can do it. Let me get my shit together.
Totally. So it's that belief. It goes back to that. Confidence is a belief.
Yep.
Confidence starts with a belief. Yeah. And,
all the way.
Listeners, it's like, create that vision that you have for yourself, that Taylor did, about she can see it in Africa. She can smell it. She can feel it. She can touch it. She can taste it. Like, it's there. So journal that, sit with that, make it so detailed that you know what you're shooting for, what your goals are. Like, make it so real for you that there's no other thought that this is going to happen for me. There are no thoughts that you're like, this isn't going to happen. And it may not happen. It may not happen the exact way that you planned it, but it's still going to happen. And for whatever reason, how it happens is the way that it's meant to be. Yeah. And who knows? It might not even happen at all. I might go a totally different direction and start like an orphanage in like Asia. Like, so I'm like it's very clear, but I'm also very open to like not blocking any other ideas that might overpower that for the meantime. Like, so that's another, it's like, and also to get to like that clear vision, a great tool that I use is writing down my perfect day. I mean, and my perfect day is like 2 pages long. And I love how you said like the smell, the taste. Like, my perfect day is like literally as detailed as like the texture of the carpet that my feet touch the second I get out of the bed, to the smell of the coffee, to the like the leaves out. I mean, it's so helpful when you do that, because then it's real. Then you're like, oh, and you realize that's actually not that far out of my reach. Yeah. Confidence is like allowing yourself to dream again. Yes. 100%. Right? And knowing that it can be true. Yeah. Boom. That's like mic drop stuff. Pen dropping stuff. I love it. Oh my goodness. Now listen, you have something that you're going to give to these listeners, a mind and body ebook that has all sorts of tools in it about that morning routine and personal development recommendations, because we're both nerds about personal development. And I think we agree that until we started reading personal development, and what I mean by that, my tribe knows what PD is, but in case you're listening first time and you don't, it's like books, inspirational books, podcast books, but not even just inspirational stuff. What are you struggling with? Go and find that book. Like I think about like the book, You Are a Badass. Like it's all about go, if you're like, my confidence is not great right now, go and aim your personal development at that. If you're like, my speech is bomb, go and pick up the book written by the guy that does TED Talks. Like go, the creator of TED, like read that book, like aim your PD at where you're struggling, because there's so many tools out there. But tell them about what you got to give them for free. This ebook. Tell me about it.
So you can, it's a Mind and Body ebook. You can get it at TaylorSimpson.com/free. Easy peasy to remember. So it is just some good, quick, effective workouts, nutrition tips, how to create balance in your nutrition and not just have it be very rigid, how to create a lifestyle, tips on how to eat out and keep a healthy balance, ways that you could, if you're at a restaurant and you're not like, oh my God, what's a healthy choice? I break down for you exactly how to kind of do that, but also still enjoy your food, because no one likes to eat lettuce. I love a burger every Friday. Let's be real. And it's got, you know, my favorite morning routine. So like daily devotionals, that sort of thing, and some good books, some inspirational books for business recommendations, self-development recommendations. So it kind of hits all the different categories. My favorite books. I read about 2 books a week. So it's like I've got a big library. So these are my favorite.
She's one-upped me. I read 1 book a week. Damn, girl.
I love reading those. Yeah, so it's got just a little bit of everything, mind and body, in a very digestible way. So you can actually take action, kind of like you said in the like previously, you could consume a bunch of stuff, but it's about taking action. So these are like this, buy this, like go. Run, put it to work. So
implement, go, do. So yay, everybody's going to scoop that up. I will make sure that I put that, TaylorSimpson.com/free in the show notes. So don't worry if you didn't catch it. I'll put it in there for you. And Taylor, I got to have you on the podcast again, man. Bombs dropped. Amazing. Love it. Love it. Love it. This is a podcast you will go back to and listen to over and over and over again. When those limiting beliefs come up, when those labels come up, when you allow yourself to dream and have that vision, but then you go, what if? Because that happens, right? And that's where I always tell people, you know, you're in the right place when you set that big, hairy, scary goal. And you're like, freak out, tiger, saber-tooth tiger. Oh my God.
Yep.
Go back to this podcast. Break it down, even take yourself through the ABC framework that you gave, like so many good questions, frameworks, whys, like everything here. Go back through this. This is your go back to resource. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Lisa. Like, again, just so incredibly grateful to meet you and connect with you and your listeners and the community that you've built. I'm sure just love you as much as I do now. So it's like, you are so lovely. And thank you so much for chatting about this topic. I hope it helps.
Yeah, it will. It will. Women empowering other women.
Amen,
let's stick together. Ripple in this world, and off we go. All right. We'll see you again next time on The Empowered Life.